Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where we are in a position right now where the demolition is largely working. It sets the Hex's building to none, but then it removes the wrong rendered building. And I know how I want to fix this, but first let me just demonstrate exactly what's happening. This won't take more than a few seconds. At least after it's done generating the biomes. Come on, you can do it. No, seriously, you can do it. There we go. We're just going to skip the tutorial for right now, because I just want to hop on in here. We'll go into land management, buy land. We're going to buy this brewery, purchase Hex, and you can see in the tooltip it is now owned. We're going to go into demolition mode, and we're going to demolish this brewery, but it's not going to demolish the brewery, it's going to demolish this factory here. And the question is, why is it doing that? Well, I don't know. But there's an easy solution here, and we're probably just going to do that. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to comment out this, because this isn't a necessary way to do this, and instead we're just going to say building hex manager dot... do we have a direct way to just clear buildings only out of the building hex manager? I mean, I know that we do it, but, and that is here. Let's see here, get prefab from building, clean up sub-hexes. Now we do reset the overlay color here. I mean, we could just clean up sub-hexes. So clean up sub-hexes, building hex manager dot game object dot set active true. We'll reset that back online, and then building hex manager dot populate buildings, and then hex store biome hex. So we can then get our biome hex with our hex ID. So manager.selected world hex .biome hexes hex ID .biome hex. And that should actually work. Now it'll go through and destroy every building and recreate them, and that's not necessarily what we want it to do exactly, but it should work. Which is better than the alternative. So we'll go ahead and hop on in here again, and as soon as it's done generating the biomes, we will skip the tutorial, we'll hop on in here. Oh my, it's just a field. I'm going to go ahead and go into an urban hex, just so that we can see a little bit better. We'll go for the storefront, so we will purchase this, like so, confirm, and we now have this hex, and then we can demolish this storefront. That'll cost $150. We should move that to $125. Oh my. Transform child out of bounds. Map hex 28, line 1001, right here. So we are having an issue, I'm assuming, with the no building for the transform child out of bounds. Let's go into our biome hexes here. Let's see, where exactly did we set up? I think that was in our building hexes. So for none is specifically a none prefab. Okay. Because there is no child in the none prefab, I bet. Let's check. I'm going to unrun this. We'll spawn the none prefab. Yeah, there's no child. So, what did I call the children inside of here? It's just kind of random. Okay. We'll just call it none. And then we will replace this prefab Now it should work, I think. The problem was just that there was no prefab inside of there. And it was expecting a child. So that should fix that particular issue. Assuming the biome hexes generate, which is always a bit of an assumption. There we go. Okay, so we'll skip the tutorial for now. And then... No, we don't want to be in demolition. Let's go into buy land mode. Go on in here. We'll purchase this brewery. Confirm that. We'll go ahead and go into demolition mode. Demolish this brewery. It'll cost 150. Again, I should move that to 125, just based on what we've got left over here. Hey, look at that. That worked fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and adjust that demolition price now. Let's see here. That should be in the business balance variables here. Destruction cost. Bring that down to $125. Okay. So now let's run through the tutorial and see where exactly we're at. So, come on, tutorial. Wow. It's the biomes generating. That's what takes this long. It takes a whole lot longer if we generate all the buildings, but for right now, that's... Oops. What did I do that for? I skipped the tutorial. Now we have to wait for the biomes to generate again. Lovely. Well, anyway, come on. Let's not skip the tutorial this time, because we're trying to make sure that the tutorial actually works. Okay. Name your company. We know that this part works. Great job. Press next. Click on an urban hex. As you can see, the map has now zoomed in. Actually, let's go back. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, and then if we click on a green hex, it still works fine, which is not ideal. Okay, so we click on a biome hex. In order to purchase land, you must first be in land purchasing mode. Yep. So we go into buy land. Left-clicking on a building hex will allow you to purchase a piece of land. Excellent, we'll buy this storefront for $18.75. You've just purchased your first piece of land. It's not really up to scratch though. It's got a building on it that you can't use. After clicking next, enter demolition mode through the bottom toolbar. Okay, so we enter demolition mode. Click on your hex to level that useless building. Of course, you can't level hexes that you don't own. Click next to continue. Okay, so we will go ahead and purchase this storefront. And as you can see, that change that we made on the cost took effect. And the tutorial just kind of ends. We'd want to put in a postal office pretty much immediately. We are in construction mode, but it doesn't do anything. Okay, so let's go into our tutorial here in our prefabs 009. And this doesn't have a function here. So you click next to continue, and then you level your useless building. So we should do something like unpause on, let's see, where is it? Advisor object. On entering demolition mode, unpause on demolition. I don't think we implemented that though. Else if method equals unpause on demolition, then the question is, when do we actually unpause? Well, first, I'm gonna just turn that down slightly. I always do that, but it's okay. I think we just call unpause. Like, in the business, do we have on demolish? Yes, we do. If tutorial script.method equals unpause on demolition, then we just unpause. So I think it's actually already set up. So advisor script element, unpause on demolition. Okay. And then that building's history. Next, we're going to construct our own building. Enter construction mode through the toolbar, and then navigate to... And in the toolbar, we probably want to have this navigation be a little bit more explicit. And then navigate to delivery and sorting, then finally post office. Okay. And then we are going to public void, actually not in the business, not yet anyway, in the advisor object, we're going to put in a public virtual void, public virtual void, unpause on, and this is going to be on selecting post office specifically. Okay. And then we're just going to copy all of this in here, and then method should be unpause on selecting post office. There we go. And then the question is, how are we going to go about implementing all of that? But first, let's go ahead and select unpause on... Did it not compile? Pause on selecting post office. It does pause on next. Unpause on selecting post office. There it is. Excellent. And I mean, do we want this thing to be modal? Probably. We don't want people to be doing some of these things in the wrong order. So what I'm thinking about doing is, since the confirmation window already appears over everything else, we can have the box collider be the full window. Not 1024. It's 1920 by 1080. That should make that window modal. Let's just test that quick. So theoretically, when the tutorial... Or no, that's just a confirmation window that's modal right now. The tutorial window is not. And the confirmation window being modal is fine. But let's just make sure that the advisor window is as well. 1920 by 1080. Okay. Yep, that'll be fine. I'm wondering why it's larger than the canvas. Oh, that's a little weird. Whatever. Okay. So the advisor window should now be modal over top of the top bar and toolbar, so when that's up, we should no longer be able to use those. We'll find out if that's true. At least as soon as the biomes generate. And it's not true. That's exciting. Why is that not true? Maybe we need to have the... maybe we've got some Z fighting going on, so the Z position needs to move towards the camera a little bit. So -1 here. And then also -1 here. We'll see if that works. Looks like it does not. Well, that's a little bit unfortunate. I was hoping that would just be a quick fix. But it would appear to not be the case. Let's see, so the advisor window's Z position could be moved forward a fair amount. Let's see, let's take a look at our UI camera here. Culling mask is only UI. 0.99, 1.01. I think that our collider was actually being culled there. Let's see. So -0.01. Just barely over it. No, go away. There we go. just barely over it. I do want this to be modal, because that will solve a lot of problems that I foresee. Oh, come on. One of these days. Or, you know, don't. That works too. Okay, let's see here. Nope. It is not modal. Okay. I mean, I don't want to have to go through and disable all of the other stuff. That's why I was hoping that I'd be able to just put the box collider in front of it. But for right now, I'm just going to put this back to where it was. And the confirmation window was 512 and 256. Okay. There. We'll just leave that the way it is right now. We can do some modality later on. It's not a huge deal. I was just hoping to have it done quickly and get it out of the way. But that's not going to happen, unfortunately. Okay. So, where were we? We were testing to make sure that the demolition actually works in the tutorial. So we're going to have to go through the tutorial here, click on an urban hex, click on a biome hex, enter land or enter by land mode, click on this storefront, purchase hex, next, demolition, next, demolish, and then we very simply don't have a pop-up. Why don't we have a pop-up? Current index is 7. It's on 008. Unpause on demolition. Are we not actually calling on demolish? We might not be calling on demolish. Let's go in here. And then if we are in demolition, yeah, we don't call on demolish. So we'll just simply say manager.onDemolish. Or rather, business.onDemolish. Okay. There we go. Now it should work properly. We just weren't calling the interaction there. And then once we have that working fine, we will implement some construction. Of course, for that to happen, we don't have any meshes for those buildings. We're probably just going to make some really, really fast ones. I'm not too concerned about that. Default company name, blah, blah, blah. Surveying land. Map has zoomed in. In order to purchase land, you must be in land purchasing mode. Buy land interaction mode. Purchase this hex. You've purchased your first piece of land. Go ahead and demolish it. There we go. Null reference exception. Uh-huh. So it doesn't actually know about tutorial script? Presumably. Did I not set it in the inspector? I'm willing to bet that's what it is. Scripts. Tutorial script, none. There we go. So that wasn't hooked up. Now, let's see what this is. We do now have 9 elements in this tutorial. So once we have a post office, then we're going to set up a collection and delivery route. And that'll probably be the same thing-ish. Yeah, it'll just be a route, and they'll just collect and deliver on the route. Okay, so we've named our company. Let's get some land. Hex levels, purchasing land. Buy land. We'll purchase this factory. And then we will demolish the factory. And moment of truth. It didn't pop up. Why didn't it pop up? It didn't throw up any errors. So, on demolish, if tutorial script.method equals tutorial script.unpause on demolition, tutorial script.unpause, and then in our advisor object, .unpause just sets should unpause to be true, and then should unpause would be run. In the advisor script, which is here. So if should unpause, if awaiting delegate and method is not equal to null. Okay. If method equals null, we return false, else if all of these happen, otherwise we just return should unpause, which should return true. Did we set it up incorrectly down here in the unpause on demolition? Method equals unpause on demolition, should unpause equals false. Then in the business, we just run the unpause. I'm willing to bet we have some shenaniganry here, like we did with the hex manager, with that not being set. That's my theory anyway. Well, let's see here. Tutorial script.unpause. So we know the business is referencing the tutorial script object. This here isn't. Yeah, it's not. Okay, so in that case, when we do our advisor script here, and we set all of these, I think we should have an object in our advisor object here called, and this should also be hide in inspector. So we'll put it down here. Hide in inspector public advisor object. In fact, we'll go with advisor script, like so. And then in the advisor script, we'll say elements, or no, when we're setting up all of our stuff up here, element.script equals this. Okay. And then apparently my phone decided to ring. Get out of here, phone. And then in here, clearly we should be setting, instead of method, script.method. I think. Well, but it's working on all of these though, because these are implemented in here. That's why. Okay. So down here we can do script.method. And see if that works. That should work. We'll go ahead and rerun this. However, I do need to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we'll run this again and test to see if that actually works. See you all then.